cognizant of everyone's time here and make sure that everyone gets to have their question asked, is we're gonna have people be able to walk around, ask us their questions, so that those who want to stay the whole time can and can listen and ask their questions, but those who have maybe one or two questions and then they want to leave can also do so.
What is their expertise to answer these questions? Do they know any answers?
Yes,
How
sir.
do they get in the record if she's up there, whoever the recorder is up there? How does the questions you ask get in the record?
If you would like a question that you have to be part of the record, you could bring it up to the recorder.
I think that this process is really not community friendly.
Yeah.
I really think that we benefit by hearing other people's.
I think, yeah, and not
Yes,
repeating
yes.
the same one.
I appreciate that. We are going to have multiple meetings. This is one of many. This is the format we choose tonight. And we'll be answering questions as you're able to walk around.
What if people just stay seated and start asking your questions? Just ask, who has a question?
Why are you doing this?
Why are you
It doesn't make any
controlling
sense at all.
the questions?
If you have a specific question,
We learn when each other ask the questions and when we hear the answers all together as a community. If it's a community meeting, we need to approach this as a community.
I have a question. Have you all considered how this will impact people living nearby as well as the planet, considering the fact that natural gas is mainly methane, right?
so we have our experts on our air permitting process right over here that can help answer that question.
I'd like to hear that answer. We all
I think we are all interested in hearing the answer to that.
Come up, go up there
So
and
if someone
answer
could
some
address
direct.
that question to the whole group, that would be great.
Yes, thank you.
Please.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I really appreciate the enthusiasm. First of all, so thank you for coming. We wanted to make sure everyone can have their questions answered, and the most efficient way to do that is to have, each of you interact with the experts, and you can, it sounds like you have.
No, because we wind up repeating the same question over and over.
A lot of us have the same question. We want to hear each question and the answer.
We have folks
How many
here
of us
that
are interested in air quality? Is there anybody in the room that isn't interested in air quality? Would you just address it for all of us?
Then let them go up front and talk. Let them go and talk.
Perhaps you could have your experts just answer that question if so many people are interested.
This is the format that we have found works best.
Not to answer questions. It's the format, not to answer questions. That's the best format.
Here and answer questions.
Answer her
If you'd
question.
like
Who's
to-
your expert
if
that
you'd
can
like to
answer
ask
her
questions,
question?
We have experts back here with the information.
Then let them
The
answer her
experts up
question.
front and let
All
them
hear
take
the answer.
I would also just like to point out that the Chesterfield NAACP sent a letter to Dominion Energy ahead of this meeting asking for what you all are asking for right now, which is a way for the community to ask questions and get answers as a whole.
They sound like they don't want to answer.
Yeah, they want to keep our secret. Yeah.
Everyone just turn your chair around and then present them.
Recorder person, go back here where these experts are so we can get everything in the record. That's the important part, in the record.
Yes.
And I think by being able to hear other people's questions, it might inspire another question and another question, rather than being put in the hallway with just your thoughts.
We haven't set it up in that format.
Then you change when you do it. You simply do it. You can change it. Someone can walk to the front. They have legs, they can walk.
They
I
don't want to deal
appreciate the
with it.
enthusiasm, thank you. If you don't mind, we'd love to answer your
Yes,
questions.
you mind. Yes, you mind.
Then go up front and do it one
Transcriber,
at a time.
can you hear all the way back there, individual people? Transcriber. See, it's not in the record if you can't hear it. I can verify what was said, it's not in the record.
So what we can do, because I think part of the really important piece of this is the boards, they have a lot of good information, also for people to be able to take pictures. So what we can do to kind of help with that is if you all want to ask questions here and have your answers heard, we can accommodate. What we'll do is can ask your questions, and then I'll take the mic around to our subject matter experts. That way, if we have people who want to come and see our boards while we're answering these, they're more than welcome. Also, if there's anyone in here that has one or two questions that they would like to have answered and then would like to be able to leave, you can come on up and we can answer those, because we want to make sure that we're being respectful of everyone's time here tonight. Does that work for everyone?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Are you gonna answer the questions for everybody here?
Let's, please, just, this is the setup we have, set up for this evening. We have the information in great detail here. We're happy to engage and talk with you and provide all the answers and to the questions you have.
Well, we all cleared our schedule for 6 to 8 p.m. for this evening, so we have an hour and a half more time if you want to have each of your experts come up and present their panel to us.
That would be great.
Yep.
I have a question. You need to go, you can go. My question is, why would construction be completed in 2018 when by 2045 you are legally required to phase out of fossil fuels?
Could you repeat that question, please, and would you give the microphone to people that want to ask questions? So that we can all hear and participate?
We'll repeat the questions so that we can make sure we can get it to the right.
And then is this gonna be recorded then?
Yes.
Out loud? Alright, great.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this facility will help enable large amounts of clean energy projects to be constructed, okay? When the wind is not blowing and the sun is not shining, this facility will fill in the gaps. Critical reliability, we take the responsibility of reliable power very seriously. Our customers expect 99.999% reliability that they've enjoyed for the last 100+ years, right?
What are battery facilities for?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are battery facilities for?
Solar and wind.
You
Let's make
cannot
sure we
operate
answer one
battery
question at a
facilities,
time.
no. So this facility will help enable a lot of clean energy projects to be constructed. If you look on there's a board back there in the back corner. It shows how much solar, how much wind, how much battery storage we plan to deploy. It's between 30 and 45,000 megawatts of new zero carbon generation. This is 1,000 megawatt. Huge difference. 95% of the energy or new projects that we plan to deploy will be zero carbon generation. We need some additional dispatchable generation that we can control, that comes on when we need it the most in the summer, in the coldest days of the winter, when the peak demand occurs. So that is the main reason we need to deploy this asset. It's very critical to reliability. If we don't build this facility, we may not be able to unlock all of the other clean generation that we plan to build.
And you know you'll be attacked in court for the next 5 or 10 or 20 years with this plan, so it's never gonna come online.
I appreciate your opinion, but we feel differently. As far as your point regarding how long this is expected to operate, we understand our obligations under the Virginia Clean Economy Act to get to net zero carbon emissions by 2045. We also have a duty to maintain reliability as we go through the transition process. And so we need this asset to enable all of that clean energy to be built. So hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions around that topic? Yes.
Not necessarily around that topic. I attended the first community event that was very similarly set up to this, and was not able to get a straight answer on the amount of energy that this plant will produce, how much of that will stay in the immediate Chesterfield area versus going to other regional areas and powering those. My question is because we are gonna bear 100% of the negative health impacts and the cost of rate repairs and of people who live in the community. But I'm very interested to know if I'm going to be reaping the 100% benefit of the power that's gonna be generated.
So, in general, facilities that, such as this one, when they do operate, they tend to deliver power to the general region that they are surrounded by. That can vary depending on the demand and where that customer demand is located. So, but in general, the power is transmitted to the surrounding regions where it is consumed.
So based on all of these posters that you have up, you have estimated the amount of energy that's gonna be needed that this plant is gonna provide. How much of that power will be needed during those peak times in the community that are gonna bear 100% of the health negative impacts that this plant will provide?
It will benefit the entire surrounding community from a power generation standpoint.
The percentage of energy that this plant will provide, how much of that will stay in Chesterfield County or the Bermuda District specifically?
Well, this is a 1,000 megawatt facility, right? So it will supply power, again, depending on where it's needed. Sometimes it will supply 20% of the community within Chesterfield County. Sometimes it'll be 100%. Sometimes it'll be 5%. It highly varies depending on the type of day, the weather, where the electric demand is, customer activities at the industrial, commercial, and residential levels. So I can't give, it's not a, one size fits all type answer,
But you
unfortunately.
can tell me that 100% of the negative environmental impacts will be directly to the community. So that's not gonna get shared, but the power benefit won't.
So this facility will meet and be below all the federal and state emissions requirements and, that are intended to be in place to protect human health. We live in these areas as well. We have employees, we have retirees, we have folks that work at our power stations every day, living in the same area as you do.
And so I noticed that the environmental justice pieces haven't been finished yet. And so I know, just from the coal fire plant that exists, this is one of the highest negative health impacts for asthma. My child has asthma, and we live as the crow flies less than a mile from this plant. And so as a parent of a child that's already negatively impacted, this is just going to add to it. And so if I'm going to not see as much of the benefit as I'm going to receive all the negative, it is significantly concerning to me.
So if you look, have you lived here for quite some time in that same location? So we shut down Chesterfield units 5 and 6, which was about 1,000 megawatts of coal-fired generation. We're now replacing it with cleaner natural gas generation.
Well, you're having to dig the ash ponds that weren't lined, that are poisoning the groundwater that are right next to where I live too, because those proper protections weren't taken either. So please about all of the great things that the coal fire plant has provided there.
Okay. We're not here to talk about the coal fires.
You literally just brought it up.
I'm saying, I know, but there are improvements here to the air quality relative to what was operating there for almost 70 years. So.
But it will be a negative to nothing, right? So those power plants were taken offline, and now we're adding something new.
Right, but
so it's
this
actually a net negative.
But we have growing load. We have the need to deploy large amounts of clean solar and wind. We are building the largest. We're building the largest offshore wind facility in the United States starting next year. We're the second largest solar, energy company in the U.S. of all of our peers. We are delivering and building a lot of clean energy.
But not here.
You cannot, it's everywhere. Yes, we just talked about a solar and a storage facility
So I'm gonna
in
benefit from
Chesterfield
that,
County.
from the power benefits of that, but not from the negative health impacts. Is the problem that I'm asking about right now. Like, I'm happy that all that's happening, but it's not happening a mile from my house.
The facility will produce emissions that are well below federal and state thresholds that are intended to protect human health, including sensitive individuals. Period.
I mean, I'm kind of hearing you say essentially that this community has borne the brunt of burning coal for 70 years. And we've finally gotten that shut down to where the community no longer has to suffer those health impacts. And it's just being replaced by a gas plant that is going to also negatively impact the community. And my concerns is like, you know, once you guys build this plant, like what's the true lifetime of this kind of project? Because if we're supposed to phase out by 2045 and we're pumping all this money in to build a plant that's going to last over 20 years, just to be shut down before its lifetime is up, it seems like a huge waste of resources.
So this facility may not retire in 2045. It depends on all of the new technologies, what other clean energy solutions are available.
Exactly. So the community is going to be locked
the
into higher
facility-
pollution rates for the next however many years you guys decide to run this plant.
Again, this is a clean burning natural gas facility, primarily operating natural gas.
You just listed off a lot of pollutants that are harmful for people in the community. I think it's a bit of a misnomer to say it's clean burning.
But it's
following the Clean Economy Act? We're not
No, we are.
Natural gas is
You just
the
told me
same
you
word.
We're planning to meet the Virginia Clean Economy Act. We're deploying 500 to 1,000 megawatts of solar per year.
Well, I am asking about this plan. The Virginia Economy Act says you need to have it all shut down by 2045. Are you telling me that you're not planning on doing that? So I'd like that on record.
We
You
don't
are
know
or
the
you
answer
are
to
not
that.
planning to comply with the Virginia Clean Economy Act.
We don't know the answer to that yet.
So you can commit to it and you can build more.
Didn't you already agree to it?
So I think the simple answer to that question is, yes, we do plan to follow the Virginia Clean Economy Act. We are
He told the
actively.
truth, now you're trying to cover up for him. He
I
told the
would
truth,
like to
now you're
answer
trying to
the
cover up.
question, please. Yeah. So the answer is yes. We do want to follow the Clean Economy Act. That is our plan and that is our goal. That is why we are implementing all of these renewable and clean energies. The Clean Economy Act also allows for the caveat for reliability so that as we're continuing to bring on clean energy, we don't risk people not being able to turn their lights on, people not being able to run their oxygen tanks. And so we are
using that caveat to keep this plant alive. Is that what
I'd
you're
rather
saying?
be in the
The
dark
simple
than
answer to your question
breathe
is,
poison.
yes, we are working towards meeting the Clean Economy Act goals.
And you're planning on using the caveat. Thanks, that's what we need to understand.
I'll take this one and I'll come back over to you. Yes, sir.
So you guys made a whole lot of that peak surge event that happened in 2022, but your numbers back there say that you're gonna activate this plant 500 times a year. So you're gonna activate it when like the big data center in Ashburn needs more power, so you can pump pollution into her neighborhood to power their data center? Is that the kind of event that you're talking about?
That's a great question and allows for better clarification. We are not planning to start the facility up 500 times a year. We are asking to be able to have a maximum. So that would be the maximum that we could possibly start the project. To answer your question, it's whenever there is peak load demand from all of our customers, whether that's during an extreme weather event, whether that's when other generation facilities are not online for whatever reason.